we're going to be looking what are the negative shocks on the production function. We're going to be looking very specifically at the pandemic. So negative shocks to the production. So when you're talking about production function, or what's going to be happening in the two-factor inputs which go into production function, there are certain assumptions. So first, let's look at what are the two-factor inputs. Now, production function has two-factor inputs, which is labor and capital. So these are the two very important inputs with assumptions. One is that it's a perfect market. Basically, the firms have no power to set prices. The firms sell at market prices. Believed is the classical economics that the market is in long-term equilibrium, right? This long-term equilibrium. And then the third is like markets, actually the firms, they pay market wage. They are getting the fair price which is in the market, and also the unions or the groups basically cannot demand more than market wages. So this is an example. So this is sort of the basic assumptions. Now we are going to look at what happens. This is an example of a negative shock. There are also positive shocks. Positive shocks takes up the demand curve. We'll see and what happens in a negative shock. And we are looking at pandemic. So the example here we are going to be discussing is COVID-19. So there are two types of shocks. Basically, one is a positive shock and other is a negative shock. Here we are specifically looking at the pandemic, which is a negative shock. There are other kinds of shock, but we'll only discover the pandemic here due to COVID-19. Now, a positive shock would increase drastically the productivity, and that could be because of the technology. Technology has been a huge enabler in terms of driving up the productivity. So that is something which I'm parking right now. First, let's look at the negative part. So there are two-factor inputs. When we're talking about labor and we're talking out here as the output, the total aggregate function out here could be Z. So this is the output of the economy. A negative shock like the pandemic actually drives down the aggregate production function. So it's going to go down across all points. So Z1 is the new thing, is the new level. So we have seen now the output has fallen to Z1. The demand is actually aggregate demand has fallen. Also, the marginal product of labor goes down. So marginal product of labor is nothing but slope of the line. We have seen when you are taking the slope of the line, let this be marginal product of labor 1. This is marginal product of labor 2. So you can refer to the module slope of the line here, and you will come to know what I mean by slope of the line. Slope of the line is basically best way to find out what is the iterative value added in the output by addition of one labor. So one unit if you're going to be adding. So when you're going to be taking the slope, it is nothing but change in the slope is nothing but change in y about change in x. So one unit of change, which is 1 unit of labor, what sort of output you're giving in. So you can clearly see here two things are happening. One is the aggregate demand function is going down, so aggregate production function is down. Production function. So if you look at these lines, so if you look at the slope and you anytime take, so the marginal productivity product of labor across all points goes down. Now this thing is absolutely true of also the marginal productivity of labor of capital. So let's look at the other factor. So if we look at other factor, input output with capital, let this as Z1, this as Z2. So because of the pandemic COVID, the aggregate production function now of capital also goes down. Basically it affects the demand for capital at all price points. And now when we look at the marginal productivity of capital, so marginal productivity of capital K1 is always greater than marginal productivity of capital K2. So one is the aggregate production function, again goes down for the capital, which is the capital demanded, and it also exactly same which we are seeing is like the marginal productivity of capital. That means any iterative use 1 unit of capital will give you less amount of output as compared to the curve. So marginal productivity of capital at Z2 across all points is less than marginal productivity of capital at curve Z1. So this gives you a fair idea. Now if you had a positive input, opposite of happened. Say with the new regulation or some very positive regulation which is for the market, or with the advent of a technology, what would have happened is you would have taken output would have gone up. So this is in case of a positive supply shock. So if I'm taking Z1 here, then Z2 would have been this one, and Z1 MP K1 and MP K2. So what is MP K2 there would have been greater than MP K1, which means the marginal product of capital across all points at Z2 would have been greater than marginal product of capital at Z1. Now let's look at another example. We'll look at this time real rate and how it affects, how the pandemic also affects them. And this is units of labor. So if you are looking at units of labor, we know the supply of labor is fixed and marginal product of labor is always going down. As the number of units increase, the marginal product of labor is less. So let's look at this concept. We have looked at it before. If Middle Road, my company, hires or puts more capital during the initial stages, the marginal product of labor or of actually the workers, the here employees, this sort of is an older word, so that's why we have to use labor. Things have changed now. Middle Road, let's say Middle Road is employed, so initially the marginal product out of these employees or their contribution will be positive. So that's why we saw in the marginal curve this slope is steeper, it goes down, and then at one point of time as you keep on adding more employees, but the marginal product of labor would not be as high as the amount of remuneration you're paying them. So we have seen that separately before, just to sort of reiterate here. Now let's see what happens during the time of a negative shock. Even as at an equilibrium, any point above E1 will have an excess supply of workers in the market, and any point down would have excess demand of workers. But at E1 you are at equilibrium. So what the negative pandemic will do, it will drive the demand down across all points. So we have E2 now. So E1 is greater than E2. So the demand curve, so demand across all points goes down. So since the demand across all points goes down, we see and we look at the marginal productivity of labor, which is like MPL. This is 1, this is 2. So MPL1 is greater than MPL2. So marginal productivity of the labors also goes down, and that's why you see there is a dip in the real wage rate. So this also goes true for the capital rate of real rental rate of capital. The same thing happens. Now if there is a positive shock, this curve will go up. We'll look at both the scenarios in for rental rate of capital. Now you can see this as a capital K, and you have real rental rate of capital. So now we have seen that before. The supply is fixed. We have always seen the supply is fixed. The supply for capital is given by a vertical line. We have seen this graphs previously also. We saw also real rate of return when we had matched it. We saw in the surplus loan, loanable funds module. So we have seen this at a lot of times. So supply, as we have seen, of capital is fixed. Now this is the demand for capital, which can do D1. This is also an aggregate demand. So basically it's a mix or addition of marginal product of capital. Right, so D1. So now during a negative shock, what would happen is that this is the equilibrium at E1. It's going to take down the demand across all points. So you have a shift in the demand curve. This is a shift in the curve at E2. That is why the equilibrium point comes down. So E2 will be less than E1, and secondly, you will have the marginal product of capital at E2 less than marginal product of capital at E1. So this drives down the marginal product or productivity of capital as well. Now when you are looking at a positive shock, let's say when you're looking at positive something like technology, it does the opposite. Instead of E1, it's going to drive up the demand, and the demand curve goes here and it settles down at somewhere at E3. So when we're looking at the equilibrium point E3, at that time E3 will be greater than E1. So this is a very good example to make you understand. A negative shock drives down the demands across all points. It takes down the equilibrium of which is nothing but of the real rental rate of capital. So the real rental rate of capital from E1, which is what you will say here, goes down here. So there's a downward shift from E1 to E2. So one is that. Secondly, when you're talking about marginal product of capital, that also goes down across all points. Now, on the other hand, when there is a positivity and there's a positive because enablement because of technology, it takes the curve up across all points, and we look at E3, which is nothing but the real rental rate of capital also increases. And since real rate of rental of capital increases, you're looking at, that means the more units of capital you're employing, it's going to give you a higher yield, which is going to higher productivity. What it means otherwise is, if there is a negative pandemic, when the curve is going down, that any incremental yield of capital is also going to give you less amount of output, or that is productivity from that amount of output, which we have seen is nothing but the supply curve, which we saw in the previous equation. So with this we come to an end, but we know now that national income is very important. Is how this model defines national income as. National income is nothing but real income. It's a real labor income plus real capital income is a marginal rate of productivity, which we say is MPL into L plus marginal product of capital into capital. So if you look and add these two, it's nothing, it gives you the national income. So you have seen both the terms, what happens when you're giving a negative shock. One, it's going to change the aggregate demand curve. The demand curve grows across all points. It's bring down the equilibrium level of either the rental cost of capital or real wage rate in terms of units. That means you are less productive, and which is implied in the drop in marginal product of labor or capital, which means you are less productive either with capital or with labor. So these are the two factor inputs, and we got, this is what the shocks or would do the aggregate production function.